This is He Knows Everything, bringing you that heat and fire. We keeping a foot on the what on the Knicks. We keeping a foot on the what on the Knicks. Look who they're using right now.
Go ahead, he knows.
Timothy Knothead, aka Bullethead Bradley, a guy who trips over himself, a guy who has no boxing ability. They're using him to talk about a barking Chihuahua who's been propped up to big dog status. You see, this is very clear. Everyone knows Timothy Bradley's been getting nothing but L's. All of a sudden, he gets a W. All of a sudden, his boy Terence Crawford gets a W. This shit is not adding up, man. I don't know if you guys are not paying attention or listening. You got to listen to every video that comes out of He Knows Everything every day to steer you into the right ship. And it's the right ship of cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat truth-telling fashion. And what is the cold-hearted? You saw a fake fight. What is the unadulterated? You saw a WWE scripted fairy tale variation of what you think is an actual fight. And what is the unadulterated cutthroat truth-telling fashion? Well, the truth-telling fashion is as simple as this. If it's WWE shit, it's WWE shit. We know there's a bilateral rematch. We know this is going to lead to a trilogy because once Spence knocks out Terence Crawford in the second fight, he's clearly going to want a third. Boxing's clearly going to need a third, and boxing's going to make the most money off of a third. Let me say it again. Spence is going to want a third so that he can get the lion's share of the victories. Boxing's clearly going to need a third because they're going to make the most money out of this shit. And fight fans win because they get to get what hasn't happened since the 80s. What hasn't happened since the Four Kings era with Roberto Duran, with Sugar Ray Leonard, with Tommy Hitman Hearns, with Marvin Hagler. Every time these guys fought, it damn near ended in a fucking stoppage. Or somebody thoroughly dominated another person. It wasn't no fucking close fight. And when you actually had that close bullshit and fuck shit fight with Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler, that's because they robbed Marvin Hagler. That was the only time that happened in those scenarios of those Four Kings. But outside of that, every fight ended in a stoppage or somebody thoroughly dominating another. This is how Spence and Crawford is going to be. Each fight is going to be a thorough domination. Each fight is going to end in a stoppage. Terence Crawford got the battle. Spence is going to get the war of attrition. You see, you guys have to stop operating in the matrix. You guys have to stop sipping on this blue fucking pill. And when you got Timothy Knothead, aka Bullethead Bradley, who we know has no boxing ability, who we know that trips over himself, who we know has been given belts, try to explain boxing IQ, try to explain pundit information, try to explain at the highest levels what the sweet science is, you have to ask yourself, it's a things that make you say, It's a things that make you say, Of course he's going to get behind this. Of course he's going to think Terence Crawford, a barking Chihuahua, is significant because he's not even significant as a boxer. Let me say it again. Of course he's going to say Terence Crawford is significant because he's not even significant as a boxer. You guys have to see right through this nonsense. And people are not going to get this because right now, the hoopla, the mass hysteria, the media information is Terence Crawford has been elevated from barking Chihuahua to big dog status. So right now we can't bark the Chihuahua bark. We got to give him big dog stamp of approval. You see what they just did? They gave him number one pound for pound. All of this is WWE scripted shit. And you guys are not going to get this until once Spence parks Terence Crawford at 154. When that happens, everybody's going to be like, damn, He Knows Everything was giving me that heat and that fire. And he was keeping the foot on the what? On the Knicks. He was keeping the foot on the what? On the Knicks. And all of that unlimited pressure. Because pressure does what? It bursts his pipes. All that shit he was saying, it was true. So now we have to believe it. Do you know how many people in the comment section are like, man, I ain't gonna lie. You talking all this cash money shit. You talking all this supposed conspiracy. You're talking all of this nonsense. But I have to admit He Knows Everything. Spence fuck around and knock out Terence Bud Crawford, we all got to give you the credit because you saw this shit. You was 7 steps ahead of the game. You was basically looking at it from the war aspect, the war of attrition and not the battle. So you guys always see things in the prisoners of the moment, in what you see in that moment. But what you see in that moment has imprisoned you because it's imprisoned your mind. You have to get past that. When you get past that mental blockage, you're going to say, why is everybody getting behind Terence Bud Crawford when they didn't even believe in Terence Bud Crawford? Why all of a sudden Terence Bud Crawford has this mass hysteria of a fan base when he couldn't sell a chicken dinner, let alone a cookout? Why was Timothy Bradley on the fence, but all of a sudden he's emphatic? Come on, man.
Go ahead.
You have to build one person up before you tear somebody down to rebuild somebody back up. This is how it works. See, they had to increase Terence Bud Crawford to decrease Errol the True Spence, at least for right now. But in this war of attrition, Terence Bud Crawford is going to decrease. And when his decrease happens, all of these Budman fans, all of these Terence Bud Crawford fanboy man crushes, and this Bullethead, aka Knothead Bradley that's behind me, he's going to fucking disappear. They're going to crawl right back into the rabbit ass holes that they came up out of. And when it's all said and done, they're not going to have nothing to say. Because right now, every dog has to have his day. What I said was so deep and profound. Hear me and hear me. Motherfucking well, that went over a lot of people's heads. Every dog has to have his day, meaning a Chihuahua. Chihuahua barking behind his damn fence. The motherfucker got to come behind that fence sometimes and have his day. And right now, Terence Bud Crawford is having his day. But guess what? There's 365 days. So if he has a day, what do you think is going to happen in the other 364 days? In the other 364 days, the natural order will restore itself. And what is the natural order? Tactical aggression. What is the natural order? Technical punching placement. What is the natural order? Body snatching work, the levying onslaught of the punishment style. The natural order will return back to its natural thing. And when it returned back to its natural thing, what you're going to see is that Terence Bud Crawford is going to get parked at 154. You think it's a coincidence that Errol the True Spence updated 154? You think it's a coincidence that Jermell Charlo is fighting Canelo Alvarez? You see how all of this shit is adding up? It's so that they can situate the next 2 fights at 154 so that Errol the True Spence can beat this motherfucker up twice at 154. That's the cold-hearted. That's the unadulterated. That's the cutthroat truth-telling fashion. I keeps the foot on the what? On the Knicks. I keeps the foot on the what? On the Knicks. This is He Knows Everything. Check it out.